Alright, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classic, less known classics. This is episode number 3167 and Doubleshot 3061. Well, we're talking about a book that contains the last volume to discuss Runaways until that new volume's released. In Runaways, the Complete Collection, Volume 4, which collects the entire third volume of Runaways, which was 14 issues. I will be getting to, let me get to mid so we can cover that one. So, also have one for Universal Runaways, material from Mystic Akuna, Sister Grimm, and Breaking Comics Marway. So, these issues. Steven Cebulski does Mystic Akuna, Sister Grimm. Terry Moore is one of the writers here. He does the first 9 issues. 10 is done by Chris Yost. And the remaining 4 issues, along with the Breaking Comics Our Way, is by Cap Emmerman. And Steven Cebulski does the What If Runaways Became Young Avengers. The artwork for Sister Grimm is Phil Noto. For 6 issues of the book is Ramos. 7-9, Takashi Mizawa. Saberto, this is issue 10 and 11 to 14. Breaking the Comics Our Way, number 1. It's not Lupus. The artwork is done by Serena Faruka. The What If issue is by Patrick Spuditz. So first start off with Mystic Akuna, Sister Grimm. So apparently this story here, it says here, note, the story takes between issue 17-18 of the first volume for Runaways. Which begs the question, why the heck didn't Brian K. Vaughan write this story? It is just a story featuring her where she is just training to use magic, and all the artwork here, living on magic per se, and of course basically it's like, yeah, it's all about the staff of one. It's just something that basically happens here. And then we go into the main book. So then we see these aliens try to come to Earth. And by the way, in case you're curious though, is Corona's fiance, is he in these issues? I don't think he is. He is. Though he can also be a she because he's a shapeshifter. Excuse me. Yeah, he's only in this book for the first 6 issues, and then he's gone. Yeah, he's here for the opening story because it involves the aliens from their aborted wedding they had. That's kind of what goes on here. And of course, Runaways doing their own thing. Now, where are the Runaways, you might ask? Are they back in LA? Because at the end of the previous book, they were in New York. And they are back in LA. And they get new base operations. A house. Yes, known as Malibu House. Which it is a primary fixture in this book. It is their base operations for this only volume. And it pops up in Breaking Comics Marway. So yeah, the whole thing of this book is the aliens come basically to have revenge against Zavin. There's a bunch of other stuff happening here. Hal having fun at this house. And of course, Zavin has to leave Earth at the end of these first 6 issues. Also tricking the aliens that Corolla with him. Corolla was there, but no, it was actually him all along. So, a lot of good action here. And for some reason, Nico is wearing this gothic dress. And it's very revealing. Why in the world she's wearing this, I have no idea. And then the aliens come in and they try to eviscerate the leapfrog, which is basically the primary vehicle. And it's a lot of good action here. Then, like, they think basically they got her at the end of this. And then it's shown that it's not Lucy, but it's Evan because of the arm. And that would be the last you see of Zavin for years. Yes. Zavin himself who is Corolla's fiance. Yes. Excuse me. After this, he is not seen again until Marvel Boyce's Pride. And I believe it was just a flashback. Yeah, it's probably just a cameo thing, but I would say his next pop appearance is not to the end of Volume 5. Yes. So, I count them pop appearance him. Yeah, because issue 6 came out in 2008. Excuse me, 2009. And Zab would not make his return for 12 years. Yes, you heard me right. He has gone from comic for 12 years, with the exception of our one shot. As for why they're on the book, maybe they had plans to bring it back for the book guy. Well, we'll get to that. And then we have a quick part of it, we just have Nick and Lucy basically just holding hands. It's like stuff goes on here about some bad guys. Yeah, it just feels like stuff going on here for these issues. And it lasts for these few issues alone. And then by issue 10, they get involved with Manifest Destiny. Yep, called Mollyfest Destiny. Excuse me. Those of you thinking, why would the Runaways get involved with the storyline Manifest Destiny from X-Men Comics? Well, because Molly is mutant, and the fact they're friends with Wolverine, and he appears in this book. Yep, and it's basically the Runaways visiting Utopia for an issue. That is literally what this issue is. They go to San Francisco, they hang out at some club, and stuff happens, and then of course they leave. It's a quick one-off issue. Chris Jost writes it. It's quite interesting. I like the issue itself. And then we have the final 4 issues of this book. We open up with Lucy taking a bath. And by the way, Gertrude is not here in this book. Nope. She is gone. And the reason why she's gone? Because she died. Yes, you heard me correctly. Gertrude died. Yes, she was dead. She died in the previous volume in the final issue of Brian K. Vaughan's run. And that's why she's not here. We have other stuff happening here. We have Lucy and Corolla getting close together. It's like basically the writer of these issues, Catwoman, it seems like there was teasing a possible romance between, possibly between Nico and Corolla, but it doesn't really go anywhere in this book. It does go to the place in Volume 5. We have stuff happens. We have a lookalike for Gertrude in here, pop up in this book. And then the book just ends. Yeah, a little time travel stuff. Yeah. Is there any action in this book? Well, toward the end of the book, their headquarters get destroyed. And it is never seen or mentioned ever again. Yep, and then we have a What If issue, where what if the Runaways became Young Avengers? Really cool idea. Or apparently Iron Man founded them instead of basically the... well, instead of basically people being the Young Avengers. Really cool idea for this one. Love the artwork though, plus I love the font on Kang. Really nice, fun, selling issue. what about the Breaking More Comics Norway? I think that's just after issue 14. Yeah, on the cover it's Peter and Jessica. So the story is presumably, I'm guessing at this. Excuse me. It is just a quick, short story of just Nico and Lucy hang out in the house before it was destroyed. And just, it's quite interesting. It's like they're playing house for a few issues, and that's it. And that's kind of the end of the fourth volume. It's not a bad volume per se, but it's like, I guess Mark Velvet still book was big seller, so this is like a really popular Runaways is. So, I get this book roughly a 9 out of 10. But what happened with Runaways? For some strange reason, I do not know why this was at the time, they put the series on hiatus to be retooled. Yes, you heard me correctly. To be retooled. They put this volume on hiatus. I thought basically it lasted maybe a year. Not freaking 8 years. I guess Marvel threw Runaways a bone by giving the Secret Wars book called Runaways. And by the way, that book doesn't count for the numbering for Runaways. Nope, it does not. This volume does. Yes. But what about the next time they actually appear? Like, right after the final issue came out. Next time we see them is in Wolverine's son's book, Doc and Duck Wolverine. For Here Comes the Pride for a few issues, and then they pop up in Avengers Academy for 2 issues, and then the team is not seen again for 2 years. Because Nico got plucked out of the Runaways and put in the book known as Avengers Arena. I still need to review that. After the book was around for a little over a year, then the book was relaunched as Avengers on the Cover, which basically in the book they're about Alex Wilder, by Damon Hellstrom. It's like the whole book was basically the survivors minus X-23 who decided to go over to Brian Michael Bendis' all-new X-Men book. Wanting an Avengers Arcade because he apparently leaked the footage of what happened in Avengers Arena on the internet for publicity. Yep, I'll eventually do Avengers Arena someday. Eventually. So Then the book basically had it where Nico rejoins the Runaways. But then, of course, basically, that's when they see him again. And then like, what happens after that? Well, not much with the Runaways. I mean, you see Nico pop up in the A-Force book, both in Secret Wars and the relaunch. Yes, Nico becomes part of that. I mean, she's probably the only member who's actually active for all this period of time. Oh, heck yes. Definitely. Nico is. She is very heavily active. Oh, and Victor Machina, he ends up joining the Avengers AI book. Yes, that's what he does when he's not with the Avengers. So, yeah, basically, like, after Avengers removes the cover, next time we see Nico was actually in the A-Force book, and then she returned to Runaways. And she was there for the whole run. Of course, popped up in the Midnight Suns book, Vicious Strange Academy, all over the place. He appeared in an issue of the current volume, the most recent volume for Doctor Strange. Now she's only appearing in digital books for some weird reason. Don't really know why that is. What about Carla Dane herself? Well, when you popped up Avengers it was Avengers Academy, she got a girlfriend. Yep, she started dating Julie, Power of the Runaways, which by the time the book came out, she shows up in the book and they break up. Just so they can have Cruella date, well, Nico. Which, I personally do not mind that at all, per se. It's a fine development for the character. Oh, they even have basically, like, after this book, she popped a few issues of Sword, all because she's an alien. And then she did Dark Ring for a few issues. She popped up in Young Avengers. Then she did the Runaways book. And then nothing. Chase Steen, who is not active in Runaways right now because he left the team. To be with a version of Gertrude from the future. Yes, because he still had infatuation with her. Oh, did you know at one point that Chase Steen dated in the book briefly Nico? Yes. So after Runaways wrapped up, popped in one issue of Sword. This, of course, was the Karen Gillan book. Of course, popped by the Dark Wolverine, Avengers Academy. He was in Avengers Arena as well, like Nico, and on the cover. And popped in one issue of Vision, and he pops up in Runaways, Volume 5, and right now that's it for him. Molly Hayes, the sole mutant of the group. Yes, they have exploited that many times in the book. But here's the weird thing involving her. She's never joined the X-Men. She's been offered, never joined. And here's what she did afterwards. Well, also popped up in Sword as well. She popped up in connection with the Rogue Age, because why not? An issue of New Avengers. I think this was the issue where Luke Cage was looking for a nanny. Looking for a nanny for Danielle Cage, that'd be Squirrel Girl. And of course, team in Dark Wolverine, Avengers Academy, one is Avengers Arena, Infinity Hunt Legacy, Volume 2, yes. Appears in Volume 5 of Runaways. And then she popped up even recently as Rise of Powers of X. Of course, Victor Machine, of course, was Avengers AI afterwards. At least him and Charlie Sheen and Nico, at least he was active. Oh. Excuse me. Those who forgot Victor Machina, the son of Ultron. Yep, Avengers AI, Pop Vision, where he killed his nephew, finding out secret reasons. Carla Priest. She didn't do very much after this book wrapped up. Did she pop up the Runaways? Did she return the group after this book ended? She did. And then she popped up in 2 issues of the recent volume. They say the reason why in the book was because she was adopted by 2 gay men as her daughter, loved being with them, and wasn't getting the last issue. Of course, Scrooge himself would eventually return after that, yes. Yeah, but did I agree with the decision basically for the book on hiatus? Reading this book, at the time, I did not agree with it, but I would say it probably was the right decision because you read this book, you're like, what else can he do? And plus, also, maybe what probably drove readers away from this book, it wasn't the storytelling. Well, actually, kind of it was. I mean, this book had 4 freaking writers in 14 issues. Do you know how many writers the previous volume had? 2! Yes. First being Brian K. Vaughan, the guy who started the freaking book. And then it was Joss Whedon for the last 6 issues. In this book, you had freaking 4 writers. I was thinking, James almost wrote an issue. What issue did he write? Because, you see, he's credited here as a writer. Excuse me. He co-wrote a backup story in issue 10. So basically, in a way, we had 3 regular writers in 14 issues. Plus also the inconsistent artwork. I guess at the time, Marvel just kind of gave up on the Runaways. And then they brought him back. Well, the story I've heard, the reason why they took so long to bring it back, excuse me, the excuse I've heard of the reason why it took so long to bring back the ongoing Runaways book was for one simple excuse: waiting for a good story. Over the course of 8 years, just hire a good writer, have this per here she writes Runaways, and be like that. And you got Rainbow Rowell, who made her debut with that 5th volume, and she did an amazing job. Book was amazing. As a matter of fact, it basically broke the records. It broke many records with that book. It broke this volume by reaching issue 15. It broke the first volume by reaching issue 19. It broke the second volume for the book, which at the time, prior to all this book was coming out, Volume 2 was the longest volume to date for this book. And then Volume 4, well, that's not Battle Wars, broke it by 8 issues. Excuse me. The year it ended, it was one of those books I questioned, like, Marvel's reasoning for why they ended the book. And you read the book, you're like, why did this book end? The book is so freaking good. And heck, it was collected in 6 volumes. Compared to nowadays, you're lucky if basically books last a freaking 2 stories were to give up, with the exception of a few big titles. I'm glad they brought back the book as a mini-series. And do I think they brought it back because they didn't think that the previous one was a big seller? No. I think they brought it back purely because basically people like that book. And despite the fact Rainbow Rowell is probably a well-respected writer by the readers, readers love her, from what I can tell. People love her She-Hulk book. She did amazing with that book. And she did an amazing job with Runaways. Giving Runaways again was probably a smart idea. It was not a smart idea in her She-Hulk book after relaunching She-Hulk after only 10 issues. Yes, I still can disagree with that. I'm hoping that this upcoming volume for Runaways, which is starting in 2 months, my hope is that this volume is successful enough to convince Marvel Comics to launch another Runaways book. I hope so. And keep Rainbow Rowell as the writer, because she did amazing in the book. Keep somebody who actually works with these characters. I mean, yeah, you don't have to have Brian K. Vaughan basically write him again. I mean, he's been done with it for years. I highly like if you want to bring him back for an issue, fine. Just you think, what about the writers of this book? I don't think they need to come back. No, I don't think so. That's my opinion, anyways. Excuse me. Next up, we have is Catwoman, volume by Tini Howard, volume 4, 9 lives. This book collects issues 59 to 68 of Catwoman, volume 5. Yeah, volume 5. I want to take a quick look at something here because this trade here is the end of an era for Catwoman. What do I mean by that? Well, it's the end of the Tini Howard run. You're like, really? Because you have Torrin Grubba take over the very next issue. Yes, Tini Howard. By the way, this arc was 10 issues. Frickin' 10. And she starts with issue 39. So basically, this book is ending a 30-issue run of the book. Roughly 2.5 years. Plus, I love the fact they brought back the purple costume. I like the fact they updated it. It does show a little skin, mostly in her hands. I'm a little surprised they updated it. Plus, they still keep the same logo, which is quite nice. Of course, you have Gene Howard, like I mentioned, on the writing. We have Sefa Ferrari, Carmen de Muco, and Ivan Stern on the artwork. David Nakamiya does the artwork here, which is amazing artwork, by the way. Yes. And can you believe this whole story took place the last 10 issues of this book? Now, there's a reason why, basically, that the story is 10 issues long. Why it's called 9 Lives. So, you have Catwoman dealing with somebody else, like, so I was saying, Gatabella, which apparently is not language for Catwoman. And we have this wonderful page spread with her, which is awesome. So how sexy Catwoman is. Then we see a flashback of her wearing the previous outfit that I think, if I remember correctly, I believe J.G. Jones, Julie Jones. She actually was the one who started this run. She actually decided to change her outfit to this, which is fine. Oh yeah, and then in the interview we have this under her outfit, this 9 Lives thing. And this basically is the driving force for this book. Because the whole, I guess that Tini Howard probably felt this so because of the recurring joke of, 9 lives. So basically just have these tattoos on her back, which, yeah. And you see her in this book with this other woman. I think this is the, other Catwoman. Excuse me. Yeah, Eco. The other Catwoman. Mm-hmm. Which you gotta praise Tina Howard bringing this character back. And she's here for the main. She's basically here for this whole run. I thought that was interesting. I'll get to more of that in a minute. So, we explain the whole 9 Lives thing and her being trustworthy. And then we got to this house, this beautiful woman just at the pool, and then from Catwoman's here, and of course we have someone with the wine's open, and of course there's a waiter left open. It's like, great, it was walking right by the other bottle for you. And the guy gets killed because Catwoman's there. And then we have this guy appeared in this book. Known as, yeah, I think it's, there's also Tomcat. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was the first one who debuted in this book. Let's see. Yeah. So, the guy, of course, like Velma came and gloat. Are you glad I know he's dead? Yep, and of course, basically, Catwoman she killed him in issue 50 of this book for reasons. Like, he stayed with Maya May, of course, she gets stabbed, but she survives, thanks to, of course. Oh, and of course, we see 2 more telemarks. And then the next issue, the Pink Flamingo shows up. Yes, the Pink Flamingo. Yes, by the way, she's actually in... So in the first issue, she goes... I think she's in Italy. Yes, I believe so. In the first issue of this story, she's in Cambodia. And I believe the next issue, in issue 2, she goes to Katoa. Yes, so the architecture looks like basically like... So he goes in our country here. Yeah, Catwoman's not in Gotham City. She basically is left there. So we have the Pink Flamingo. Those from the Pink Flamingo, he is a Grant Morrison character who wears a pink suit, rides a motorcycle, and he's a cannibal. Yep. I kid you not, he is a freaking cannibal. And occasionally Catwoman fighting despite the fact he's more notorious of being a Batman villain than a villain for Catwoman. Yes. Those that be thinking like, why of all people the Pink Flamingo? Yes. Here is simply known as Flamingo. But I believe in pre-Flashpoint, he was simply known as Pink Flamingo. Because I remember it basically was called that. Oh, and those of you curious, who brought him in the current continuity? Scott Snyder. Yep. Yeah, he appears in this book. Now, Tina Howard had been using him in the book, and he's here for the story arc, and then he's never seen the book ever again after the book wraps up, actually. Well, there's one anyways. So, and of course, basically about killing people, theater of death. Then Piccolo is briefly part of them, and then he quits. Because of Catwoman. And then basically, by the end of the book, basically she's scraping the neck like, oh, maybe she got another telemark. Nope. Still stuck at 3. Well, he's in Ride 3. So, where is she going in issue 61? In 61, she goes to Macovia. You think, wait, Macovia? Does she run into Geoforce? Nope. He's not in this issue. Because I think of course we have flashback to Gotham City. We still have the tally marks. Basically, Catwoman's back. Gonna take a shower. Yep. Then she goes to Markovia, which the place is not much the same ever since Leviathan basically devastated the country. We go like a version of like Chernobyl, where she gets affected by some radiation. And then we see Superman show up. Yes, Superman. I think this may have been his sole appearance in this title because I don't think he ever appeared in this title before this one. You're like, really? Yes. I'm just trying to double check to be sure. Because I still think this was his sole appearance instead. Okay, here we go. So he did appear in this issue here. He did appear in issue 50. And then he appeared in the issue 65 and the annual. So he did appear in one story for this book. I think, let's see, I'm looking right here. He appeared in a story with Intruder Alert. He appears in this book in 65. He appears in the annual for this book. Yes, he appears in the annual. Which, it's just a cameo, but this was only his second. This is probably his first appearance in a proper Catwoman story. And then he appears in that one issue, and that's it. So, then she's basically infected. We have more stealing stuff. And then running into Amanda Waller. You're thinking, why the heck would she work with Waller? By the way, in case you're curious though, Les Waller off pairings with the Suicide Squad. They're in the book Suicide Squad, which is, this lamp is interesting. It's Black Alice, the Second Clock King, Jeanette, Ravager, and Sportsmaster. You're thinking, Clock King the Second, who's that one? Oh, it's the one based on the TV show. The Harley Quinn and Shoost. Yeah. So, she works with the Suicide Squad, and here they are. Ravager, Sportsmaster, Jeanette, Black Alice, and the Clock King. Who, yeah, well, basically the way he's drawn here, he looks like the one from Terror. He looks like the design from Terror Titans. Yes. Jeanette, of course, was the character from Secret Six. Of course, yeah. You see Secret Six Savage. Yep. Sportsmaster, Armor's Crook. Yep. And well, basically, those juicy facts in here. Tree or Scandal. And Clock King. Once saved Sportsmaster's life after Sportsmaster used a tactical nuke on a shopping mall. So, and then they go to Kuwait, where they run into frickin' Black Adam, of course. Yes, Black Adam. And of course they fight him. No, they don't die. Nope, they'll survive. She just works and she's not a member of the team. Then eventually someone says Shazam. And then, of course, she gets a mark on her back. Oh, in case you're curious, though, the Suicide Squad are not in the next issue. Nope, they're in that one issue. But now she's basically in France. And we deal with the group Nemo, who is a group from the pages of Aquaman. Yep, the group that was... Yeah, they return here. It's like, okay, so let's deal with some Aquaman villains in a Catwoman book, where she's captured by them, and then she's free, and then she's rescued by the Sea Devils. I think it's the Sea Devils. Probably somebody else, but I'm thinking, wait, Nemo. Yes. I find it's interesting they brought this group back for these issues of Catwoman after the been seen since issue 15 of Aquaman Volume 8 by Dan Abnett. Yeah, that was last time they ever were seen, which is back in 2017. So after the appeared in this very book, this is the first appearance in 7 years. I guess Teen Howard was like, hey, can I use this group? Cool. And they issue going to space. Yep. Going to space. Oh yeah, they're only here for a few of the issues of this book. Then we have another obscure group here. A group known as the Demolition Team. Unlike in the case of Nemo, who I knew who they are, Demolition Team, well, they actually previously appeared in the pages of, they didn't even Green Lantern, they're creation of Lane Wein and Dave Gibbons, and they're brought in by Peter Tomasi for reasons. They're just a minor vigilante group who appeared in this book for 2 issues after last appearing in Punisher Tries Hard. Actually appeared also in Superman. It's like, yeah, let's throw in the Demolition Team. So it's like Suicide Squad. Yeah, so with the Suicide Squad, people know who they are. We have Mention of Secret Six. We have Demolition Team here. We have Nemo. Excuse me. And then by 65. Where is she in 65, you might ask? 65, she's in Brazil. Yep, she's in Brazil. Also, Scandal Savage is in this book. Yep, after apparently dying in the previous issue, she comes back. Yep, she gets revived. Excuse me. Then we have Scandal Savage here, which, one thing I love the fact Gelson did when she brought her into this current continuity, they still kept the fact she's married to Knockout. Oh yeah, she is. She's still married to Knockout. Which apparently they revealed this in issue 62 of this book. The fact that they're still together. Which really cool. Love the fact Teen Howard basically referencing here, but yeah, they brought him in. And then we have Catwoman meeting Knockout first time, which, in case you're curious though, did these two ever meet in pre-Flashpoint? Nope. They never did. First time they ever met. And yet, for some reason, this is kind of Knockout, but doesn't wear a trademark look, but it's just here with Scandal, another woman. me and the wives. It's like, stalked you. I asked Jeanette. You betrayed me, Scandal. Let me perfectly clear. However, about with Vandal Savage. And then she's slapped by Catwoman. It's like, we don't have a rich boyfriend that put this up. Slaps her, apparently scratches her. It's like, nope. Even yet, yes, I got an offer. So they reluctantly work together. And then we're back to Brazil, where they basically stay at one of Scandal Savage's safe houses. Oh, in case you're curious, though, who made Scandal Savage a lesbian? Gail Simone. Yep, Gail Simone. She created this character, and she brought this character in. Yep. Now, Knockout herself basically was I think she was a creation of Carl Kitzler, and she was brought in with the Secret Six book. And the weird thing is, there's no mention of relationship. She had past her relationship with Superboy, because she met him. All faking the death of Catwoman here, fooling Pink Flamingo. I can't think of this way called simply Flamingo. And of course, they mentioned the Gotham War story that we have, the final issue of this book, which is also the back cover. Yes, issue 67. Actually, that's the penultimate issue. So you have Catwoman work with the other Catwoman and a bunch of people to fight these ninjas. And then we see also Clayface. Yeah, oh, excuse me, Lady Clayface. Central follows Onyx Adams. Yeah, she was a character person. Scorpina is the one with a scorpion in her head. Yeah, and she debuted in Batman Incorporated. And she's a believe it or not, she was created by Grant Morrison. Oh yeah, she also appeared in Batman Eternal for like one issue. The issue that was the worst issue of the whole series. Yep, and then she's brought in here as a recurring character because why not? And then we have Catwoman running into Nightwing, which apparently this is before an issue of Nightwing's own book, issue 114. So yeah, this is before Tom Taylor's last story arc, basically, following Grayson. So they reluctantly work together. Of course, they get out of it, and then of course, the issue ends being where she's on an operating table, and her surgeon is Hush, who in pre-Flashpoint took her heart. Yep. You're like, really? Yeah, really. I guess Tina and Howard threw in Hush because why not? So basically, they do brain surgery on her to remove whatever's causing the tattoos on her back. And then we have the thing kind of help asking Batman for help. Hopefully to find Selena. Of course, they have the little cat stuff here with Velmont, the guy who died basically at age 50, who's back here briefly. And then, well, surgery is completed. And then they put the mask back on her, and she's kind of brainwashed. So she'll be able to recover, no problem. Apparently, slicing up Hush and take out more guys here. Yep. And then the book ends. Right there. Well, basically the hour ends right there. And a nice little happy note here. Interesting book. I do like all the world traveling here, per se. It felt like basically like you get this book like, wow, we're going to more in a minute for that one. But overall, really good book. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And Jordan Greg takes over the writing duties of this book. And I was talking to Steph Phillips about it. She's like, yeah, good choice on DC's part to replace Tini Howard in this book. Because the woman who replaced her on Harley Quinn, I have no idea who the heck she is. I'd never heard of this person before, so there's that. Final thoughts on Tini Howard's run for this book. A quite interesting run, per se. A run that had a good start. I liked the start of this book. Probably by far the low point in this book, of this run, was Gotham War. Oh, heck yes. Gotham War, I think everyone can agree, is the low point of this book. Because this book was dragged into the whole thing. It's like, oh yeah, it's a lover spat for a month, and then it involves Vandal Savage. Excuse me. I kind of feel as though, now in the case of Batman, he recovered from the event, no problem. He just moved on, just did with that. Catwoman decided to just leave town after the whole thing wrapped up. Excuse me, yes. And this is like right after. So it's kind of weird though that this story arc here comes right after Gotham War. I guess Tini Howard was told, hey, tell this really big story you want to tell. You have only 10 issues. And we'll collect trade paperback. I'm surprised also this trade paperback was only like $9.99. Well, I actually got this as a birthday gift, mind you, from a coworker of mine who I requested on my wish list. But it is shocking the fact that DC charged only about $20 for a trade that normally they would have cost a little more. Like, if this was Marvel, if it was this thick, they'd probably charge about $30 a damn thing. That'd be Marvel. But this is DC. Smart decision on their part for doing that. It is interesting, though, the fact that this book was wrapped up in roughly about... Actually, if you count Gotham War, we have roughly 5 volumes for this book. Oh, yeah, the whole thing of, like, Catwoman's gang. By the way, the events of Gotham War are referenced in here, but they're not exactly, like... How should I put this? It's not necessarily a driving force of the story. It's basically just a play on a line from Batman Returns. Not cats have 9 lives. That's kind of what this storyline is. And it's like, okay, so in order to settle whatever spat Catwoman Batman had, let's have her leave town, go on a globetrotting trip. Well, back globetrotting after basically just had to take a break for Gotham War. I do appreciate, though, the fact Tini Howard brought in groups who have not been seen in a while. Like, bringing back Nemo for the first time since Aquaman. That was really cool, the fact that she brought them in. The fact that she utilized Lady Clayface as a character in this book, which I found that to be interesting because, excuse me, I never thought that they would feature a character who was simply a villain who debuted in the pages of Batgirl. Yes, she debuted in the Rebirth Batgirl book. That's where pretty much basically she made her debut. But you could say this book was the first proper appearance of this character. Yes. And she was a fully fledged supporting character. I guess after Gotham War, they want to rest the character for a bit, and then they brought her back for these last 2 issues because Tini Howard did a great job writing the character, so I guess figured, oh, why the heck not? Vandal Savage being included in this book was interesting because, well, she was featured a little bit prior to this one, and I do think the whole idea of her going to jail for killing off Belmont, that was interesting. But why kill him off after just debuting him and then, like, you can kind of think of, like, Gotham War as basically her trying to go and actually murder the man. That's possible what happened here. Yeah, Belmont was the best way to describe him. It was basically a rebound guy. They briefly were an item, and then by age 50, he's dead. I don't really know exactly why they decided to kill him off for. Like, if I meet Tini Howard, I probably could ask her that. It is kind of weird that they just basically kill him off after leaving the book for like a year, and then you see flashbacks after that. Yeah. It's like, what was the purpose of that? I do get a hand at Tini Howard, at least. Now, those of you curious, Ram V was the previous writer of the book. But when Tini Howard took over the book, that's when the logo changed. Because the logo under Ram V had pretty much been the same since the previous volume of Catwoman, when the book was brought back in 2011. And I think that change the logo probably was definitely a good idea to do. Now, Julie Jones did not have a long run in the book. No. Her run was mostly around, like, the first, like, couple years of the book. Because they had her abruptly leave after a very short period of time book. Yeah, I guess that she probably just came in and felt as though my work was done. Come book issue 1, leaving issue 21. Yeah, that's when she left. After roughly 2 years of this book, she left, had some fill-in writers. First name Paula Saburn. And then you had Sean Murphy and Blake Nicott for 2 issues. And then you had Ram V take over, most of issue 25. Excuse me. And you had him pretty much do from that point up to issue 38. So he did a couple issues prior to that, but in the case of this book, under Tini Howard, I did not think the book was terrible. No. I thought it was more consistently good than Harley Quinn. Well, Harley Quinn is confusing. If you read this book compared to reading Harley Quinn, I felt as though reading this book, Tina put a lot of effort in this book. And with the exception of Gotham War, I definitely do think the book was actually really good under her penmanship, but under her writing skill. That's just how I thought about it. Do I think she's better than previous writers? Nope, I think she's just as good as Ram V, which of course basically when he showed up in this book, I had never heard him before, and I talked about it, and he was like, yeah, it's because of my debut with that book. Yep, of course this book also introduced me to Julie Jones. Yes, I am looking forward to the first trade that collects Tini Howard, when Tara Nova collect her run for the book. And if you're really curious, so issue 59, and this run under basically the current writer has released a total number of not many issues, surprisingly. Only 7. Yeah, 7 issues. That's how much pretty much she came out with. But yeah, not much to say about this book. So there's that. I should probably end it here because we're going for almost an hour. So that's pretty much it for particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. Next up, I'm the evil lord of the intergalactic empire. Okay, next video. Bye.